Hello, and welcome back to the Misty Morrison Podcast. I'm your host, Misty Morrison, and this is episode 17 of Petty Please. Before we get into the pettiness for today, just our regular housekeeping before we get started for the day. Please remember to engage with the content to help the channel grow. If you are listening on podcasts, please leave a 5-star review, share it with a friend, and follow along to be notified when I post a new episode. If you are watching on YouTube, please comment down below with your thoughts on the stories, like the video, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more. All right, on to our pettiness for today. I did visit a new sub today when I was looking for stories. So our first story is coming to us from r/inheritance. Family angry about inheritance I will be receiving. Do I share the wealth? Location not relevant, no help needed. I started caring for an elderly aunt and uncle as their health started declining. I knew from past experiences that healthcare gets confusing and overwhelming, so offered to help, expecting nothing in return. After a period of time, we were asked to be executors of their estate, as they trusted us more than anyone else in the family. Knowing it will be a daunting task, we were honored that they would trust us, but agreed to handle their estate. They later informed me that they named me as sole beneficiary of their estate. They had no children. Nevertheless, we have a very close family. I've learned they saved quite a bit of money, nearly $1 million. My aunt has passed, and caring for my uncle is almost overwhelming. I've recently learned that a wealthy cousin expects me to equally distribute their estate amongst a small group of the family, including herself. She questioned me, asking why I think I should get it all. While they named me sole beneficiary, I don't feel comfortable getting it all. He's still living. He may give it to charity, spend it, or need it to pay for his health care as his health declines. Needless to say, it's premature to make plans regarding the distribution of his estate, but this conflict has caused a rift involving the entire family. I'm an empathetic peacekeeper and non-confrontational. I have strong ethics and integrity, yet I've been accused of doing horrible things. My cousin is upset with the way I've handled the situation, not sharing details of their estate, even though I expressed that I didn't feel it was my business to share. I would like to share the wealth with some of the members of the family who could really use the money, but I'm afraid that doing so will upset others if they're not included. I hate this rift in the family, and part of me wants to try to mend this conflict. And she knows that's my nature. I think she expects me to come crawling back to her, but I know in my heart I haven't done anything wrong. And I'm getting tired of people walking all over me. I'd appreciate words of wisdom and advice. Thank you. Oh, yeah, money makes people stupid. Money makes people act crazy. I don't think you're on the wrong path here. If they wanted their estate to go to anybody else, they would have said that in the will. They didn't. They said you took care of them. They're basically saying you earned it. I do think it opens up a can of worms if you dole it out to some of the family members who need things. I think rather than gifting them money from the estate, potentially, not a lawyer, no legal experience at all, but I think potentially, using money from the estate to gift them large items that would help them in their life, like a down payment, a car. If they need it, if they need transportation, reliable transportation to get to work or to school, gift them a car. I feel like potentially gifting them money from the estate could maybe open things up to other people making a claim on the estate. I don't know if that's a fact, not a lawyer. That's my interpretation of it. But truly, I think they left it only to you for a reason. You do not owe anyone anything. So I would just block all the people who are harassing you about it. They do not have good intentions here. They're being very selfish. Block the people who are harassing you. Give other people who have only mildly harassed you warnings. Say, hey, I'm not talking about this. This is not open for discussion. If you continue, I will block you. And you may end up having to cut a lot of people out of your life, which is fine. Block them, save yourself the headache. Yeah, and if you really don't feel comfortable getting it all, take into consideration the things that your aunt and uncle cared about when they were alive, any charities that they gave money to at the time, and maybe donate a portion of the money. But it will be yours, and it will be yours to do what you want with, what you think is right with. And I think you will make all the right choices. Story number 2 is coming to us from r/neighbors from hell. Strangers keep coming to my house because of my neighbor. This one is labeled event/rant. My neighbors have a set of small cottages, which they use for tourists to rent for a holiday. Our house is hidden behind a long winding driveway and is detached from their house and the cottages. It's pretty clear to most people that it's a house. I mean, the cottages are right there. They're completely visible, plus the car park and numerous buildings. Instead, we have strangers coming up our driveway, parking in our drive, and knocking on our door at all hours of the day. Sometimes it's at midnight, sometimes 6 a.m. It's not every day, but it's often enough and has been going on for the almost 20 years we've been living here. And I'm just so annoyed by it that I want to scream. And the people who come and knock at our door are, of course, the most stupid type of people. The cottages are visible from our house, and I'll point and explain to just go up the other driveway. It's literally only our drive or the driveway to the cottages. It's not hard. Yet they still act confused, and often my neighbors are out, so these strangers come back and ask us what to do. Why would I know? Leave me alone? This is private property. It's my home. We've even had people go into our back garden and walk into our living room. Like, what? We even have a sign at the end of our driveway that says private property. Apparently, some people just don't care. And there are signs on our neighbor's driveway that explain where the cottages are. Why are some people so stupid? OP, I feel for you, because stupid is so hard to handle. I had a day the other day, not too long ago, and I'm just like, it has to be a full moon or something, because I feel like everyone, their stupid has just come out of so many people. This would really be a horrible situation to deal with, especially if somebody just randomly walked into your house. That's so weird. There is a place locally where there's like 2 driveways close together, and one's like a tourist spot and the other one's just private property. And so like the tourist spot has like the name of the location at the driveway, and then the next spot says says something like "not here, turn around and go back. The last drive is what you're looking for." It also says "don't turn around here." And the signs are actually kind of confusing, because the sign for the driveway that's not the location has the name of the location on it, and it has it written pretty big, like bigger than the rest of it. But yeah, I mean, no. And that's like so many situations, like in businesses even, you try to solve a problem with signage, telling people what to do or what not to do or what the expectation is. But there you have to rely on people, for one, reading the sign, and for 2, comprehending the sign. And that's where the struggle is, to get the comprehension. You can't fix stupid. The best I can say is you need a gate. You need a gate on your driveway, or a very large, more specific sign that says, "The cottages are not this way. Turn around, go back." I don't know. Like, I think your neighbor just needs flashing arrows and flashing red signs, like all the way down the driveway to keep these people on track. But if you do like need signage, or anything like that, your neighbor's creating the problem. Like you should try to at least get them to pay for part of it. Yeah, this would drive me insane. Story number 3 is coming to us from r/neighbors from hell. More like new neighbor from heck. So far, little rant. They just moved in about 3 months ago. Everyone has been super nice so far. We're a very quiet, close neighborhood. They aren't directly next door, kind of catty corner, street shaped like a J. I'm at the bottom of the J and they're in the middle of the tall side. Vacant houses on both sides of mine. There's a lot of people in that house. More than they moved in with, that's for sure. Their teenage boys have mowed my lawn and done a few little things here and there, and of course I've paid them. All is well. Last week they asked if I had some laundry detergent. I had a large new bottle and a smaller bottle that was half gone. I gave them the smaller one to use and return. I know how much was in it because I can tell, you know? They returned it with a little more in the bottle, which is weird because that's not usually how things work. I pour it into a big measuring cup, and they had put water in it, thinking I wouldn't know they used as much as they did. Okay, whatever, I can still use it, no big deal. But Today they asked if I had cooking oil. This time I put some in a little Tupperware container, and Kid says, I think we need more than that. So I grab the gallon jug that's only got like a quarter left, but tell him I need it back because I'm making whatever for dinner. He brings it back, swinging it by the handle, so it's mixing up, and it's up to halfway full now. It's cloudy AF. I said, oh, what happened? Why is it cloudy? He mentions the swinging. That makes no sense. They again added water, not realizing water and oil literally don't mix. So he was swinging it on purpose so I wouldn't notice. I told him to keep it. His mom messaged me and said, I thought you needed it back. I said, yeah, but it looks like it got water in it somehow, so no big deal. I have plenty. You go ahead and keep that. Hugs and kisses, sunshine and rainbows, blah, blah, because I don't want to be seen as accusatory or anything. But come on, guys. I'm not stupid. Now you get nothing. Just be honest. I'm retired and they don't seem to work, so I have to keep things cool here. We visually see each other all the time. And no, I'm not contacting their landlord. He's a slumlord, so they'll be gone soon enough, I'm sure. Nobody lasts more than 6 months in that house, and they always get evicted for owing up to $1,000 in illegal fees. It's been a problem forever. The house currently has 9 violations, and I don't think it's even supposed to be occupied, but that's not my business. The previous renter is my friend, and she's taking the landlord to court to get those illegal fees, $900, off her credit report. I could talk forever about the house itself, but right now I'm just irritated at the new tenants. Thanks for letting me vent. Yeah. I mean, I can almost see adding the water to the laundry detergent because it would be hard to tell once it mixed up. But like the expectation was that you were going to use what you needed and bring it back. So it of course would have had less than when you got it. So why try to refill it at all? And especially why refill it past where it was when you got it? Because that's what gave you away. The oil though. The oil. Again, people are just showing they're stupid. You put water in oil and thought it would be fine. I mean, I'm glad you caught it because like what if you were gonna like fry, like deep fry with that oil and you didn't catch it and you put it in the pan? I can see just the water and the popping and the splashing everywhere. It would have been a horrible mess. It could have been dangerous. That's just so dumb. It hurts my brain. It hurts my brain. I know you said they're teenagers, but I don't think that's an excuse. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Story number 4 is coming to us from r/neighbors from hell. Neighbor keeps accidentally blowing his leaves into my yard, so I return the favor. I live in a pretty leafy neighborhood, so yeah, yard work is just part of life. My neighbor, though, has this monster of a leaf blower, like the kind landscapers use. And for some reason, he insists on blowing all his leaves straight into my yard. Every time I'm going to use my like AI like background noise remover in post. But if you could hear the loud sound now, there's a thunderstorm and it's pouring down rain. So if you can hear that, sorry. Mother Nature's just doing what she does. Every time, no shame about it either. We don't even share a fence. He just walks right up to the edge of his property and lets it rip like it's totally normal. I asked him nicely to stop, and he just said, well, the wind just carries them that way anyway. My guy, you are the wind. So last week I waited until he finished, then I calmly raked up every single leaf and dumped them back in his driveway. Didn't say a word, just made eye contact the whole time like it was the most casual thing in the world. He hasn't touched the leaf blower since. It's been 4 blissfully quiet days. I think I broke his spirit a little. Petty? Maybe. But honestly, I'm sleeping better than I have in weeks. I love this one because it is truly petty, and I love that he was there, and he knows, and you made eye contact. You said everything you needed to say without a word, and he understood, and that's how you know you did petty right. He had it coming. You did nothing worse to him than he did to you. You inconvenienced him after he inconvenienced you. Fair is fair, but I'm glad he got the message. Story number 5 is coming to us from r/neighbors from hell. Crazy lady won't let anyone park. This one is tagged, what would you do? Vent rant. I live in a house in a suburban neighborhood, and parking tends to get a little congested, especially when people throw parties. Needless to say, I'm quite used to random cars being parked in front of my house. Every single house on the block has its own driveway. There's an older woman who lives at the top of the block on a corner property, directly across the street from me. Calling her entitled would be an understatement. Since she lives on a corner, she has sidewalk on 2 sides, and she tries to prevent anyone from parking along either side. She goes about this in several ways, throwing garbage onto cars, leaving neurotic notes saying things like find a new place to park, and verbally confronting people who are well within their legal rights to park there. Recently, my brother had to park near her house and came back to find a note on his car. It's so frustrating. Realistically, I don't even know what can be done about it. This sounds like harassment. I don't know if you could set up cameras to catch her doing it, to catch her putting trash and stuff on people's cars. If she's putting trash on people's cars, that's vandalism. The notes could potentially be considered harassment depending on what they say. I would definitely call them on an emergency line and see what the police recommend. Story number 6 is coming to us from r/neighbors from hell. Neighbor's porta potty is leaking. My next door neighbor is having some remodeling done. Started in March. And this was posted in July. No end in sight as far as I can tell. There's been multiple issues, but the latest is the porta potty set right against our property line. It's on a curb, her property, overhanging a front planter bed, my property. Couple days ago, I saw it was seeping. Ugh. Some kind of liquid all over her curb and into our planter. Day 1, I informed her. Hey neighbor, your porta potty is leaking. Could you please have your guys fix it? 'Cause gross. She agreed and apologized. Day 2, still seeping. So I escalated. Hey neighbor, still leaking. It needs to be resolved ASAP because gross. She responded, contractor is looking into it. Day 3, still seeping. Hey neighbor, if your guys can't fix the porta potty, please move it so their piss is contained to your property. Yes, I used the word piss. Neighbor says her contractor thinks it's just water. I respond, I don't care. Move it. She says, okay. So tomorrow, if porta potty doesn't get fixed or moved, I will need to escalate again with some kind of believable threat. I'm thinking telling her I'll be reporting a biohazard. But who do I report to? The city? What do you guys think? We are in a large metropolis in the U.S. Oh, this is definitely not something that I really could have any relevant advice on because I thankfully don't live in a city. Don't have neighbor problems for the most part. Um, I would imagine that this is something you could report either to your local police or city hall if there's not an HOA. I think the HOA would probably be the easiest place to start if there is one. Um, but yeah, I mean, there may not be anything specific in place about like a biohazard, like a porta potty, but because part of it is overhanging on your property, that should be enough to warrant you requesting it be moved. Oh, see, here's a good one. Somebody said, call the porta potty company. Yes. Yeah, that should be easy enough fix. I feel like if you call the porta potty company and you tell them like this is leaking, they would probably come fix it. I don't necessarily know that they're liable for it or not, but it's their property that is damaged and causing damage to your property, so they'd probably fix it. Um, and then somebody else commented Environmental Protection Agency because it's toxic waste. That's a good one, but then somebody said there's a state level of EPA. Like they said in Virginia, it's called the Department of Environmental Quality. Yeah, good advice. All right. That is us done for the day. That is 6 stories for this week's episode of Petty Please. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time for another episode of the Misty Morrison Podcast. Bye.